Hello, I'm Dave and this is Fiver, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at the pretty village of Exbury in Hampshire, and it's located on the southeast edge of the New Forest with the Jubilee River to the west and the coast about a mile to the south. And we're going to be walking a roughly 5-mile circular route starting at Exbury. We'll have a look at a few things around there and then head east to the settlement of West Common and then on to Blackwell Common, and then we'll follow a Roman road and then head northwest onto the King's COPSE Enclosure. We'll cross over the dark water and then head south to Gatewood Hill and then eventually back to Exbury. Now I'm filming towards the end of March. It's one of those beautiful, quite glorious spring days. The sun's out, blue sky, hardly any wind. Should be perfect conditions for walking, so do come along with us. Okay, well I've actually parked my car at the Exbury Gardens car park. We're going to use their cafe afterwards, but we're not going to go into the Exbury Gardens themselves. Fiver and I visited there a couple of years ago. I made a video, so if you want to have a look at that, I'll put the link below. So before I start the walk, let me tell you a little bit about the history of Exbury. The main settlement was originally about a mile to the southwest of here, where there was once an Iron Age fort and a later small chapel. That area is actually called Lower Exbury today. But in the 1820s, the area around here, which is called Upper Exbury on an 1809 map, started to grow as houses were built for workers on the estate and gardens. Exbury Manor itself dates back to the 13th century, but the Exbury house today has an 18th century core and was effectively rebuilt in 1919 and refaced in 1927. And at one time, most of the houses in the village were owned by the estate. Okay, well, we'll start off with a walk with a look at the church, which is just in front of me here. So this is the Church of St Katherine. Now, originally there was a medieval chapel at Lower Exbury to the southwest of here, but when the bulk of the population moved here, a new church was built in 1827. And that in turn was rebuilt between 1907 and 1908. And it consists of a chancel, a nave, a vestry, an organ chamber, a south porch and a northwest tower and a memorial chapel that was added in 1928. The bell, which dates from 1509, and the 13th century font both came from the original chapel at Lower Exbury. Well, sadly, the church is locked, so I can't go inside, which is a real shame because Arthur Mee, in his King's England Hampshire book that he wrote in the 1930s, had a lot of interesting things to say about the church inside. But there we go. Okay, well, we'll kick on with a little wander through the village. We're quite close to the church. Here's the old school. And it shows on both an 1897 map and a 1961 map. Now that magnificent structure over there is the water tower, which was built in the 1920s to provide water for the Exbury Gardens. Well, I've just bumped into one of my regular viewers, a chap called Tim, who's passing by. I think he lives not too far away from here. Lovely to meet you, Tim. And of course, he's now a recipient of a limited edition Dave's Countryside Walks badge. Just passing by, I think this was the old post office and shop. Certainly it shows as a post office on an 1897 map. Oh wow, look at these quite splendid old petrol pumps. I believe they're over 70 years old, and they're called Beckmeter M model pumps, apparently, and I love the clock dial. They were restored for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, So I'm guessing it's some sort of village amenity these days. An interesting cottage here, Mitford Cottage. Now, an 1871 map shows a pub here, or it might be the house next door, I'm not sure, but it was called the Milford Arms. Now, I wonder if that was a spelling mistake. I wonder if it actually was the Mitford Arms, because, well, Mitford was the name of the family who owned the estate back in the 18th century. But it's interesting, a lot of the houses around here are built of a distinctive yellow brick, and indeed local bricks were used from the old brickworks to the south of here, which again show on an old map. Ah, that's the footpath sign that I was looking for. So we now follow a footpath out of the village, heading eastwards. Wow, what a glorious sight. Spring is definitely on its way. The yellow flower of the oilseed rape just beginning to show. You've almost got this sea of golden yellow out there. Well, this is a lovely little section of the walk through a shaded wood. So we'll carry on along this track and then we'll cross a road continuing eastwards to eventually a settlement called West Common. Oh, I'm loving it through here. We're not even on the sort of main part of the foresty walk yet. The birds twittering away, and Fiver keeping an eye out for squirrels. I think he spotted one. Can I say hello, Dad? Right, so this is the road that we were looking for. So we just turn right here for a very short distance and then turn left again, following another footpath heading eastwards. We're just about to cross over a little stream. I think this bridge is called Sturt Bridge, but not 100% sure. Well, we've made our way to the little hamlet of West Common. Has changed a bit over the years. You look at an 1897 map, there was very little here, but a lot of houses built up over the years. I mean, it's almost part of Langley these days. Now, this is an important part of the walk for those folk that might be doing the walk after watching the video. We've come up this sort of dead end road on the left from Sturt Bridge, and then we sort of almost double back on ourselves past a house called Westacre. I tell you, there's some gorgeous houses and cottages at West Common. And that one over there, the flowers outside. Oh, I tell you, it's a beautiful day today, it really is. Okay, well, we've passed through West Common, sort of the outskirts of it really, down a little road called Forester's Gate, I think, just about across a stream, and that's going to take us out onto some lovely heathland. So we're now on the, I suppose, the bottom edge of Blackwell Common. The gorse looking stunning in the spring sunshine. In the far distance there, you can just make out the tops of the towers of the Fawley oil refinery. Well, a few large mounds of dead bracken up here. From time to time the authorities will cut the bracken and it'll eventually be used commercially, I expect. But it can become such a thug on the forest bracken, because if it's just left it and it just dies back and forms a sort of thatch over the ground, which means you know, there's no good pasture then for the ponies. Well, just on the side of the common is this fairly large cemetery, and if you look at an 1871 map, there was once a Baptist chapel here at Dunfield's Copse. Now that the chapel's long gone, but I think the graveyard is still here, and obviously the cemetery as well. Well, a slight change in direction now, heading north, and then very shortly going to start heading westwards. And I'm on, I think this is it, it's the remains of an old Roman road that, unsurprisingly, is straight, and it went down to Leap, where there was once a Roman port, and then it went northwards. I'm not sure if it went as far as Cadnam or not, but that direction anyway. Well, I tell you, this is the perfect day to be doing this sort of walk. It's not too hot, so there's not flies or anything. It's just about the perfect temperature. So this is King's Copse Road that I'm walking alongside, and this will eventually take us to King's Copse itself. Oh, there's some beautiful houses along here, and what a quite exquisite setting, right on the edge of the sort of New Forest common land. Wow, a little pit stop just to take in the views. Very much sort of typical New Forest scene, isn't it? With the sort of gorse, and yeah, that's the King's Copse enclosure in the distance there. So we're going to make our way sort of through there. Hopefully we'll come across a stream, the Dartwater, before heading south. So I'm now in the King's Copse enclosure, which is one of the prettiest enclosures in the New Forest. Covers something like 65 hectares, and it was established between 1815 and 1818 with oak, and then conifers were planted in the 1930s, 1940s and 1950s, mainly Douglas fir, Scots pine and Norway spruce. The sort of eastern side of the enclosure suffered really badly in the storms of 1987 and 1990, and as a result a lot of Corsican pine was planted there. But there was a significant bit of woodland here before the enclosure was created, and indeed an 1809 map actually records it as being King's Wood rather than the present King's Copse enclosure. Now, I was going to cross over the Dartwater stream, but as you can see there's some guys putting a new bridge in, so I'm going to have to do a divert. But the Dartwater itself is about 5.5 miles long, and its source is to the north, and it eventually flows into the sea at Leap. Well, because of that bridge being repaired, I'm going to have to do a slightly different detour out of the enclosure. Just down there, I'm guessing that must be a little tributary of the Dartwater. And it looks quite a clear stream for a New Forest stream. Normally they're quite sort of browny because of the the peat and bog, but that's quite clear. Well, we've made our way to Gatewood Bridge, and this is the Dartwater flowing underneath. We've certainly had plenty of rain this winter, so it's in full flow, that's for sure. So we're just going to follow this road a little bit south, and then we'll pick up a sort of gravel track, and that'll take us back to Exbury. Well, it's just about warm enough for a little dog dip. He says he's thinking about it. It probably is quite cold, that water, actually, still, so no, he's going to come out. Good boy. Okay, well, this is the road that we've been coming up, the footpath sign that I've been looking out for, and now it's a fairly straight road, although it's a private road, it's public access on it, back to Exbury. Well, we've made our way back to Exbury Gardens and the car park. Probably see a little steam train behind me. Looks like I've even got my own little bunker here. Let's go and see if we can find some light refreshment at the cafe. Well, folks, here we are in the cafe at the Exbury Gardens. I've got a nice pasty and a cup of coffee, and Fiver's got his special dog ice cream. Yeah, thumbs up from him. We hope you enjoyed our walk today. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment, and do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. It's been another great day weather-wise. I got a little bit muddy on occasions. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio. You're enjoying that?